Congratulations, Seattle Seahawks. You have finally beaten the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl 11 years after that devastating loss, and in the 49ers Stadium, too. I wanted to do this video before the Super Bowl, but I just didn't have the time. Now, this is something that I felt very strongly about for a long time, but what really prompted me to want to make this video was when I saw the Doug Baldwin video when he was on a podcast talking about if the Seahawks had won Super Bowl 49, they would have won the next one, and the next one, and it would have been a dynasty, and I just have to say that's not true. It may be hard to believe because the 2014 Seahawks, they're known as that era of Legion of Boom, and they were the one seed, they were the defending Super Bowl champions. It's really hard to think that they were at all fraudulent, but there are several reasons that I want to explain. Now, as a Packer fan, am I salty? Of course I'm salty about that game. It still hurts. That was the only Super Bowl, the one with the Patriots and Seahawks, Super Bowl 49. That was the only Super Bowl I was ever happy to see Tom Brady get absolutely bailed out. And yes, that's a reason why, but it's not the only reason. To start, let's talk about Week 3. In Week 3 of the 2014 season, the Dallas Cowboys traveled to Seattle and beat them. Now, at the end of the season, the Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay Packers, and Dallas Cowboys all had a 12-4 record. Now, because Dallas had beaten Seattle, you would think that Dallas would be the 1 seed. But because Green Bay had a non-head-to-head tiebreaker over Dallas, so one that didn't even include a win over them in the regular season, and Seattle had mollywopped the Packers in Week 1, Seattle got to usurp the 1 seed. So they would have been the 3 seed, but instead they got the 1 seed, and Green Bay got the 2 seed. Dallas didn't even get a first-round bye, and they had beaten Seattle. Now, yes, this is how the playoff format works. It's what would have happened in 2020 if the Packers had lost to the Bears in Week 17. Now, I forgot if it was the Seahawks or Saints that would have gotten the 1 seed, but the same concept would have happened. It's how it works, but it doesn't make it any less unfair. And this is crazy because I'm actually defending the Dallas Cowboys. But the point is, Dallas deserved to be the 1 seed, Seattle did not. Now, the second reason is, in 2014, the Arizona Cardinals, led by quarterback Carson Palmer, were competing with the Seahawks for the NFC West title. And midway through the season, Carson Palmer went down with a season-ending injury. And keep in mind, this is the same Cardinals team that the very next year made it to the NFC Championship. So this was not some kind of fluke. I'm not saying Seattle would have lost the division. I'm not saying they would have gotten second place. They could have still very well won the NFC West, but we won't know. And it's probably the weakest reason on this list, but I still feel it should be accounted for. Also, another thing I realized when doing a little bit of Google searching, when Carson Palmer went down with the torn ACL, the Cardinals were 9-1, the Seahawks were 6-3. So, take that what you will. Alright, we all know the third reason. It's the 2014 NFC Championship game against Green Bay. Now, obviously, this is where most of my bias comes from, but there's still a lot to be said, because as Rodgers put it, there are about 8 different plays like that. Any one of them goes Green Bay's way, no doubt Green Bay pulls away. Like they still should have. I mean, who can forget the onside kick? Who can forget the fake field goal? Who can forget Morgan Burnett sliding at midfield with tons of room to run after an interception? Who can also forget the 2-point conversion? Basically what happened here. So after the onside kick recovery, Seattle took the lead 20-19, and in the 2-point conversion, it was so fluky. Russell Wilson is being chased by 2 or 3 defenders to the right sideline, heaves it up across the field, and it is caught by Luke Wilson. I don't know how it happened. Glenn Dix was softly guarding him. Should not have been allowed. And that game-tying kick by Mason Crosby to send the game to OT, where the Packers eventually lost, that would have been the game-winning kick to send them to the Super Bowl. But there are also others, Green Bay. First drive was an interception. After getting an interception off Russell Wilson, they stalled out at the 1, kicked a field goal. Same thing happened after a kickoff fumble recovery. And yeah, tons of reasons. And Seattle played like crap. Russell Wilson threw 4 picks. The team in total had 5 turnovers. They did not play like a Super Bowl team. This is why they should not have been there. And this is why I, quite frankly, am very tired of people always pitying the Seahawks, saying, "Oh my God, it feels so bad. Imagine what would happen." The Seattle, the fans, the team, they deserve this one. No, they didn't, and they won the year before, so they should probably just be happy with that one because they did not deserve to be in this one. But they did win just yesterday, and I'm very happy for them. This time around, I had every reason to root for them, and I'm glad that they won. I'm glad that Sam Darnold finally got his ring. and I'm happy that the Seahawks got their second franchise title.